Imagine waking up tomorrow without a single memory. No loved ones, no cherished moments, not even your own identity. How exactly does your brain protect and store everything you experience? In this video, we'll unravel the mystery behind your brain's incredible ability to store, retrieve, and even distort memories. You'll explore the fascinating science of synapses, uncover why some memories last forever while others fade, and learn why forgetting can actually be beneficial. Stick around to hear remarkable stories, like a man who couldn't form new memories, and find out why sleep is crucial for remembering. Stay until the end, and you'll see why memories aren't just biological. They define who you are. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep in the brain, plays a critical role in turning short-term memories into long-term ones. Without it, new memories can't be formed, a fact tragically illustrated by patients with damage to this area. Like the famous case of HM, the hippocampus acts like a memory librarian, helping categorize and file new experiences. The prefrontal cortex, located behind your forehead, is essential for working memory, the system that lets you hold and manipulate information temporarily. This region is what helps you remember a phone number just long enough to dial it or keep track of what you're saying mid-sentence. It's the brain's mental, sticky note. The amygdala, an almond-shaped cluster, tags memories with emotion. When you experience something intense, like fear or joy, the amygdala ensures that memory is etched more deeply. That's why we remember emotionally charged events, like first kisses or near accidents, more vividly than mundane moments. The cerebellum and basal ganglia are involved in procedural memory, skills and habits we learn over time, like riding a bike or typing. These muscle memory systems operate largely unconsciously, allowing us to perform complex tasks without thinking about every step. The cerebellum and basal ganglia are involved in procedural memory, skills and habits we learn over time, like riding a bike or typing. These muscle memory systems operate largely unconsciously, allowing us to perform complex tasks without thinking about every step. Different types of memory, episodic, semantic, procedural, are encoded by overlapping yet distinct networks. This separation is what allows someone to forget what they had for breakfast, episodic, while still remembering how to speak English, semantic. Our memory system is modular but interconnected. Together, these structures form a memory ecosystem. Rather than a single memory center, the brain relies on orchestration between regions. Like musicians in a symphony, each brain area plays a unique part, but only together can they create the full song of memory. At the core of memory formation lies the synapse, the tiny gap between two neurons. When we learn something new, our brain strengthens the synaptic connections between neurons that were activated during that experience. This is the physical foundation of memory, the rewiring of our brain's circuitry. This process is called synaptic plasticity. It means that the brain's connections are not fixed, they can grow stronger or weaker depending on how often they're used. The more you rehearse a memory or practice a skill, the more stable and efficient these synaptic pathways become. One of the most studied mechanisms of plasticity is long-term potentiation, LTP. When a synapse is repeatedly stimulated, it becomes more responsive over time. It's like turning up the volume on a neural signal, making it easier for neurons to hear each other in the future. Memories are also encoded through chemical changes. When synapses activate, neurotransmitters like glutamate are released, binding to receptors and triggering a cascade of molecular events inside the cell. These chemical signals act like memory ink, writing experience into biology. In the background, proteins like CAMKII and CREB act as memory engineers. They help stabilize synaptic changes and initiate gene expression to build new neural structures. These molecules decide which memories are worth keeping by translating activity into lasting change. Interestingly, forming a memory is not instantaneous. Right after learning, the memory is fragile and easily disrupted. Over hours to days, a process called consolidation locks it into long-term storage, often involving protein synthesis and structural remodeling of synapses. Sleep plays a crucial role in this encoding process. During deep sleep, especially during REM and slow-wave stages, the brain replays neural activity from the day, reinforcing important patterns and pruning irrelevant ones. It's like the brain's nightly memory editing session. In essence, every memory you have is the result of countless molecular interactions across billions of synapses. Each memory is physically carved into your brain through chemistry and electricity, a delicate, dynamic symphony playing beneath your awareness. Retrieving a memory might feel effortless, like watching a mental movie, but it's actually a highly active process. Your brain must reconstruct past experiences from scattered neural traces, often piecing them together like a jigsaw puzzle. Memory retrieval is more like rebuilding than replaying. The hippocampus acts like a conductor during retrieval, reactivating the neural networks that were involved in the original experience. This reactivation is pattern-based. The brain uses cues, like smells, sights, or words, to find and reconstruct stored memories. Cues play a critical role in retrieval. The more closely a cue resembles the original encoding context, the more likely it is to trigger the right memory. This phenomenon, called encoding specificity, explains why a familiar song or scent can instantly transport us back in time. But memory isn't always accurate. Every time you retrieve a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable and can be modified before being stored again. This process, known as reconsolidation, means that your memories are constantly evolving, even if you feel they're fixed. Emotion can also intensify retrieval. When emotions were present during encoding, the amygdala can amplify recall by highlighting those emotional signals. This is why emotionally charged memories, like traumatic events, can feel vivid and even intrusive. Interestingly, your brain often fills in missing details with plausible guesses. This is how false memories are born. Eyewitnesses, for example, can recall entirely incorrect details with full confidence because the brain prefers coherence over precision. There are also different retrieval styles. Some memories are involuntary, like flashbacks, while others require deliberate effort. Semantic memories, facts, are generally easier to retrieve than episodic ones, personal experiences, which often need stronger contextual cues. So when you remember your childhood home, you're not pulling out a perfect photograph. You're reconstructing a rich, multisensory illusion shaped by biology, context, emotion, and time. Memory retrieval is not just recall, it's creative reassembly. Forgetting is often seen as a flaw of memory, but in many ways, it's a feature. If we remembered everything, our minds would be overwhelmed with noise. Forgetting helps the brain filter out the irrelevant and prioritize what matters most for survival and learning. One common reason we forget is decay. Memories, like physical structures, degrade over time if they're not reinforced. If a neural pathway isn't used, it weakens and may eventually vanish. This is the brain's way of reallocating resources to more active circuits. Another factor is interference. New information can overwrite or obscure old memories, especially if they're similar. Trying to remember your old phone number after memorizing a new one is harder because of this cognitive overlap. Retrieval failure is also common. Sometimes the memory is there, we just can't access it at the moment. This tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon occurs when we have partial activation but not enough to bring the memory fully online. Not all forgetting is passive. The brain can actively suppress memories, especially painful or traumatic ones, through a mechanism called motivated forgetting. It's a form of emotional self-preservation, though these memories may resurface unexpectedly. Diseases like Alzheimer's illustrate how fragile memory can be. In these conditions, proteins build up in the brain, damaging neurons and severing connections. As a result, both old and new memories can vanish, slowly erasing a person's identity. But even in normal aging, memory decline is common. The hippocampus shrinks slightly with age, and neural plasticity slows. Yet many older adults compensate by relying more on semantic memory and emotional reasoning, showing that memory isn't just about quantity, it's about adaptability. Ultimately, forgetting teaches us that memory is selective, adaptive, and constantly in flux. It's not about having a perfect archive of the past, it's about shaping the most useful, meaningful version of our experience. Forgetting is how we make room for who we're still becoming. Memory is not just a tool for recalling facts, it is the foundation of our identity. Who you are is built upon the experiences you remember. Your values, relationships, and goals all emerge from a narrative you've been constructing your entire life. Episodic memory, which captures personal experiences, acts like the diary of our mind. These memories form the chapters of our life story, giving us a sense of continuity. Without them, the self begins to unravel, as seen in amnesia or dementia. Semantic memory, our general knowledge, also shapes our identity. It helps define who we are in society, our education, culture, language, and beliefs. You are not just your memories of events, but also what you know and how you interpret the world. Even our moral compass relies on memory. Our ability to empathize, reflect on past actions, and project into the future depends on remembering how situations felt and what consequences they had. Memory allows us to grow, change, and make ethical choices. Memory also shapes social identity. Shared memories with friends, families, and cultures create bonds that transcend individuals. Collective memory defines communities, nations, and even generations. It's why we celebrate anniversaries or remember tragedies together. Our sense of future self is memory-driven too. Mental time travel, the ability to imagine our future, relies on reconfiguring elements from past memories. The brain uses old experiences to simulate possibilities, dreams, and fears of what's to come. When memory is altered, so is identity. False memories, repressed experiences, or cognitive disorders can change how we see ourselves. This highlights how memory is not only selective, but also vulnerable to distortion and influence. In the end, Memory is more than recall. It's the lens through which we view our existence. To remember is to be human. Memory is the thread that ties together our past, informs our present, and lets us dream of who we might become.